Hello folks, this is John again, and today let's try to make a Audioslave, Rage Against the Machine, just in general Tom Morello kind of rhythm tone. Now this one was again one of those tougher tones. For one, Tom Morello changes his pickup setup quite a bit. Sometimes the neck single coil, sometimes the bridge humbucker. So really pinpointing it and breaking it down to one sound is not easy at all. So for this one, I just recorded 2 parts here with my 7-string Ibanez on the neck pickup in split configuration. So basically a neck single coil. That got me closest. I used that for both tracks. It sounds to me like he rather uses the neck single coil for the left and then the bridge humbucker for the right guitar track. But for these tutorial series, I like to keep it a bit simpler, more streamlined, so I don't want to dial in 2 different tones. I just wanted to keep it at one TH3 instance on my guitar bus. So in all, this tone is not quite as close to Tom Morello's tone as I have gotten to other guitar tones. But I think the vibe is still there and it comes across the same way and it's nice and twangy and rockish. Let's get started. So in my research, I found out he likes to use the Marshall JCM 800. Now here in TH3 we have 2 versions of that. For one, the old one, the original one, and then down here, the 2210 version. And the older one here doesn't nearly have enough overdrive, not enough distortion. And also when you drive it really hard with the pedal in front of it, it kind of has a little bit of a nasally, quacky character to it. It's something that you can't EQ out afterwards. There's something in the distortion that feels awkward. And also using pre-EQ, I couldn't quite fix that. On the 2210 version, the boost channel has more than enough drive, but the mid-range is too strong and the high end is too much rolled off, so getting a nice bright twanky tone is difficult with this one. But on the normal channel, we actually do kind of get what we want. This also doesn't have enough drive by itself, but we are still going to get to that. Now for the cabinet, I found out he uses a PV 4x12, which is kind of interesting. So let's switch to that one. The only one we have here available is the Happy 51, so it's an emulation of the PV 5150 cab. I also played around with a bunch of different cabinets to see which one would really come closest to his tones, and it turns out the PV in here does do the trick quite well. Let's just see what we got at this point. Yeah, this is very clean. Let's boost the drive in here. You see, it's still not distorted enough. Also, we need to switch to a different mic first of all. Let's go to the FET 87. This gives us enough girth in the lower range so it doesn't get too thin, but also the upper range is not too harsh with this one. Seems to work quite well. Now to get more drive, let's go to the distortion section and get the Proco Red. I find this pretty much works the best. Again, I tried out a couple of different pedals and this one just does the trick. So let's get the drive down. Let's just see what we get here and dial in some stuff. First we need to lower the volume. This is getting quite loud and it's clipping the plugin. Yeah, that gives us enough distortion. So just boosting the level to get the amp to distort more, and then when it's still not enough, just fade in the drive a little bit. I boosted the tone to get a bit more of a twangy sound and a twangy pick attack. And now let's just put it into the mix and see what we got at this point. this actually sounds pretty cool already as it is. So as a tone by itself, I would go for it. I'm just hearing a few resonances again that I want to deal with. A little bit too nasty. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I also still notice there's some nasally stuff going on here in the mid-range. Let's check that out. Yeah, around those lines, just a little bit, not too much, just for a little bit of tone shaping. And there's still one or the other resonance. Let's check here in that honky mid-range. Lately I'm noticing something. Yeah, that's a weird resonance I hear sometimes lately. And then there's still something else here in that mid-range. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, around those lines. We don't have to take it out too much. It's more of a subtle resonance, but still there. It's still bugging me somehow. So let's check this out in the mix now. Actually, I'm still noticing another resonance here in that mid-range. That's about it. Okay, now I'm content. Just for the sake of argument, let's take all of that EQ out now and see what it sounded like before. You see, EQing out some resonances does make it different. It clears up the sound, and in the bigger context of the mix, it also clears up the full mix when you just don't have these annoying resonances always going on in the background. You may not hear them immediately, especially when your ears are not trained enough yet. This takes quite some time to spot such resonances, but it does make quite the difference in the long run. Let's sum up again. What did we do here? The Proco Red for more drive, because the normal channel with the JCM 800 2210 doesn't give us enough distortion. I boosted the tone up to 8 to get even more of a twang, even more brightness in that pick attack. And then I just boosted the drive all the way. Everything else is pretty much at default values. Just the presence a little bit more to get it a little bit brighter. That was also just a move for the context of the mix to make the guitar sit a little bit better. And then the PV5150 cap with the FAT87 mic, just center position. Leave it at that. And then cutting out some resonances. And the most important move here is really taking down 900 Hz a little bit so the mid-range doesn't sound too quacky and nasally. So here we have a nice rockish twangy tone. I quite like this actually. And I hope you like this one too. So please subscribe, leave a comment below of what you want to see me do in the future. And then I shall see you next time.